What is going on, YouTube? So coming back today, got my next top 10. So yesterday I did my top 10 NBA free agents for the upcoming offseason, and today I wanted to do my NHL version of the video. So I'm going to do my 5 outside and then actually move into my top free agents of the summer. So at number 5 on the 5 outside, I've got the Phoenix Coyotes' Mikkel Bodker. Actually, I believe he was traded today. So no longer a Phoenix Coyote. I actually forgot who he was traded to today. But regardless, he will be a free agent this summer. And I believe he will be 26 years old, owed about a $4 million contract, a little bit under that. And I think this is a guy that could end up in a multitude of places this year. And yeah, like I said, once I find who he got traded to, I'll post that back up. And the next player, I have the Calgary Flames' Jonas Hiller. So the Flames are struggling this year at the bottom of the Western Conference. I think this is a team that will continue with Jonas Hiller. I think he's been a good goalie for them this year. And I don't know how big the market is for goalies this offseason, considering there's a multitude of them available. Another Flames goalie, Kari Ramo, will probably hit free agents as well, along with James Reimer, and another name I'm about to get to, Cam Ward. So, like I said, I think that the Flames will probably be the favorite to re-sign him and probably won't make too much noise this offseason. Next up, I've got the Florida Panthers' Brian Campbell, a guy who is aging. He will be 37 next year, and I still think he's going strong. I mean, he's a Stanley Cup winner. He's a guy that I believe has around 24, 25 points heading up into this point, which is obviously very good for a defenseman with a very good Panthers team right now. Oh, okay, by the way, Colorado Avalanche was the team that Mikkel Bodker went to. So, I think that Campbell could end up staying with, I think he could end up staying with the Panthers. Obviously, he does have a big cap hit at around $7 million. And like I said, he wasn't traded today, and I think that he might sign for a little bit lower money this offseason with the Panthers. I'd say that would be the favorite option there. So next player on my 5 outside, I've got the Carolina Hurricanes' Cam Ward, a guy who I think will end up being gone from Carolina this offseason. He is owed around a little bit above $6 million, and he's a guy that has, I don't know, maybe not a starter in waiting, but a backup in Eddie Lack that is still a good goalie. And I don't know, Cam Ward seems like a guy that's been on the decline really ever since he won the Conn Smythe Trophy back in 2006 as a rookie. It's hard to get much better than he played down the stretch run there, but it's been a rough time the last few years for Cam Ward in Carolina. So at number 1, I've got the Vancouver Canucks' Radim Vrbata, a guy who, it's weird to think, but he is 35 years old now. I remember watching him back with the Hurricanes about 10 years ago, and yeah, I think that Vrbata is a guy who has a market that's cooled off a little bit, and I believe he has marked around 12 or 13 goals this year. I don't think he was traded today. I know he was a guy that was on the trading block. Nope, nothing going on today for him. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with him this offseason with a rebuilding Vancouver Canucks team. And I don't know. I think they're probably going to end up letting him go this offseason. His $5 million salary cap hit, and will probably be commanding the same type of money this offseason. So, alright, move on to my top 10. And at number 10, I've got the New York Rangers' Keith Yandle. So, it was pretty much a given that the Rangers are going to hold on to Keith Yandle today. And with the big acquisition of Eric Staal today, they were able to do that without giving up a big defenseman that they really needed down the stretch run. This is a guy that's a very excellent scoring defenseman, and really don't know where he's going to end up this offseason. Probably not with the Rangers. I'm assuming with the amount of high price tags they're going to have to pay for already if they do want to re-sign guys like Eric Stahl this offseason, then I don't know if they'll be able to afford Keith Yandle. So at number 9, I've got the Boston Bruins' Louis Eriksson. So Louis Eriksson having a good year. Probably going to get 20 goals again this year. And I believe he's second on the Bruins in scoring right now. He's a guy that'll be 30 heading into next year. And I think a guy that probably would be held onto by Boston. It was talked that he would be traded today, but I do not believe that he was. There was a steep asking price for him. There were a multitude of suitors, but he did end up staying with the Bruins. So at number 8, I have the Florida Panthers' 44-year-old Jaromir Jagr. So Jagr's still leading the Panthers in scoring. So, hard to believe, but he's still going strong, and only commanding about $3.5 million for the cap hit. I don't know what type of market he's going to command this offseason. It's going to be another one-year deal, and no one's going to sign a 45 or 44 or 45-year-old to a long-term deal. I don't know how long it's going to be before he retires. Like I said, you don't see many people last past 40. The fact that he's still going strong at 44 is very, very impressive. So at number 7, I have I believe he was traded also today, former Calgary Flame. I was not up to date on all the trades that happened today. Now Dallas Star, Chris Russell. So Chris Russell, guy that is a very, very good shot blocker, and is one of the cheaper options for stay-at-home defensemen in the NHL, and a very good lockdown defenseman at that. And I think this is a guy that will be commanding a very, very deep market of teams this year. I wouldn't be surprised if the Dallas Stars do re-sign him. Dallas Stars were a team in need of a defenseman, and since they got one, I think with his cheaper salary, I think they wouldn't mind locking him up for a few more years. So at number 6, I've got the Winnipeg Jets captain, Andrew Ladd. So Andrew Ladd is coming off a career-high 62 points, and I don't think that he's going to end up leaving the Jets. I just don't know if the Jets are willing to pay him this off-season, and I don't know. Like I said, his contract would be the problem, obviously. His production is still high, even though he's hitting 30 years old, probably at the back end of his prime. But like I said, I think the Jets are still the favorite to re-sign him. So at number 5, I've got the guy who was just traded to the Rangers today, former Carolina Hurricane center Eric Stahl, now New York Ranger. I don't know if there's anyone that commands a more expensive salary on here besides maybe Steven Stamkos. Steven Stamkos doesn't even command that high of salary. Eric Stahl commands a very, very, very high salary right now at $8.25 million a year. I think it's going to drop a little bit this year. He's just not giving that same production that he was when he was signed to that contract. I believe it was like 7 years ago. And his production has really been dropping ever since the Canes won the Cup. And he's still a very productive center. I think the change of scenery will help him out a lot. But he only has 31 points through 60 games last time I checked. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him this offseason. Like I said, I don't know how able the Rangers will be to re-sign him this offseason just because of the type of money he commands, but I should have a pretty deep market for a guy like that. So at number 4, I've got the Los Angeles Kings, Milan Lucic. So Lucic is a guy that is putting up a decent amount of points this year, 36, and does command a pretty high salary at $6 million a year. I think that the Kings will probably re-sign him, but if contract talks do fall apart, then I don't know. Again, the guy that would probably have a pretty deep market this year if he does hit free agency. So at number 3, I have the New York Islanders' Kyle Okposo Really, the biggest knock on Okposo is just his health. This is a guy that will be a 20 or 30 goal scorer when he's healthy. I don't know where he's going to go. I'd assume, again, favorite would be to stay with the Islanders, but I could see this guy being just being able to move on from the Islanders. He's 28 years old, spent his entire career there. Again, hard to think for, or weird to think for me that he's been in the league since 2008, been in the league for a good 8-9 years now, and you know, this is a guy that I thought would be dished out at the trade deadline, but I don't know. We'll see. He will be commanding probably a lot higher salary next year, and probably. Sorry, I got a problem with my lip. But yeah, this is a guy that's probably going to be commanding close to $7 million next year. Alright, so at number 2, I've got the aging Blues captain, and that is David Backes. So I think David Backes is probably going to hit the open market, if I had to say, and I really don't know what's going to happen with him. Again, Blues will probably still be the favorite to get him this summer, maybe talk an extension through maybe the end of his career. He's obviously pretty much a career St. Louis Blue, and he's a guy that's posting pretty good numbers this year, above 30 points, 15 goals through about 60 to 65 games. So, I don't know, we'll see what happens, and I think this is a guy that will have very deep market again if he's able to hit the open market this summer if extension talks between him and the Blues do fall through. So at number 1, it's pretty obvious who I got, the Tampa Bay Lightning, Steven Stamkos. So obviously you don't see players this high caliber hitting the market every offseason. Again, I think he's going to end up back in Tampa. It was talked that he might be traded this trade deadline, but it was a rather weak trade deadline. And I think that he'll end up going back to Tampa. I know that there's a few other places that have been talked about landing him, the Maple Leafs being one, I know the Hurricanes being another. They obviously would have another extremely deep market if this guy hit the open market this offseason, probably one of the top 5 best players in the NHL. Of course, he would be sought after just in the open market. He is an unrestricted free agent, and will obviously be commanding big money this offseason. He is bringing in $7.5 million per year right now. So, like I said, pretty deep free agent class for this offseason. So that concludes my top 10 NHL free agents heading into the 2016 offseason. Like I said, this is a very, very deep offseason. It's one that got a little bit shallower with the re-signing of Anze Kopitar to the Kings not too long ago. He was supposed to be one of the bigger names in this offseason for free agents, but even without him, it's got some pretty juicy names in this list. I mean, Stamkos, Backes, Okposo, Lucic, Stahl, multitude of all-stars. So, like I said, we'll see what happens. Should be an incredibly interesting offseason, one of the most interesting in a while. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So, yeah. Top 10 in a few days. I've been working a little bit more on a couple other YouTube projects that you guys will be seeing soon, and yeah, ones that I'm pretty excited about. But today I want to do a top 10 that is top 10 NBA free agents for 2016. I did a video a few days, or actually might have been about a week ago,